And we watched as they started damaging businesses in downtown, like here at Cozy Bar. You can see, if you look through the windows, their boards are obviously up now, but their whole front window is smashed. The difference between vaccine supply and then having the infrastructure to get everybody appointments, get them fully screened, and then ultimately getting shots in arms. And so they just came in and they are asking people who are further down, who are kind of camped outside what they believe is Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler's apartment, very panicked because he says that just a mile down the road on Cadena, there are embers falling on his house. Protesters have set up a large camp of tents, food, and grills and other things while they've been staying out here for the past couple of weeks. Now, I want to walk this way just so hopefully you might be able to hear me a little bit better, since Portland police are loud over the loudspeaker. But in regards to Governor Brown, so late last night, she went on CNN and talked to Don Lemon about the transitions that are slated to start today. And a lot of that has to do with what's going on at the federal courthouse. She says she knows that things aren't going to happen overnight, but she does say that this is going to be a step in the right direction. So once again, Ken and Jenny, we did see clashes between protesters and federal agents into the night. The damage out here is unreal. Areas of Clackamas County are still a mess. This is just a glimpse of some of the damage here in Gladstone, with power lines laying on the ground, a tangled mess of trees, limbs, and branches with sagging power lines that go all the way down the street, not to mention huge, large trees that have toppled over. People have been working so hard to clear the mess, but this is what it looks like for blocks and blocks.
This was everybody's beloved tree. Like I say, we'd have people come and stop just to admire it.
Bryce Colson of Gladstone shared this beautiful before photo of the towering 850-year-old white oak in his front yard. In the middle of the night Friday, he says the ice storm took its toll on this tree.
His name was Humboldt. He came crashing down, and it was so loud you would not believe it.
The neighborhood's beloved Humboldt split in all directions.
Our poor neighbor's house was smashed. We immediately called 911 and we're screaming, you know, "Are you guys okay? Are you guys okay?" Their son came out and we're like, "We're healthy, we're alive."
Like thousands in Clackamas County, Bryce and his husband have been without power, heat, and hot water for days. Even still, people in Gladstone are reaching out to them to help.
This has been a rough time for us, but we're getting through it, and it's really an honor to be a part of your community.
Now begins the repair process, but Bryce says he sees a blessing in everything.
And I love woodwork and furniture, and I would hate to see this guy just go to firewood. You know, he meant so much to so many people, like strangers we didn't even know loved this tree on their drive to work every day. And I want him to go on in as many ways as possible so everybody can have a piece of Humboldt to remember.
They intend to turn the remaining stump into a shrine to honor Humboldt's centuries of life. And right next door to Bryce, there's another tree that's been uprooted. You can just take a look at these roots here, the water that's beneath. It's honestly pretty unbelievable to see this kind of damage. So this is still blocking their road as well. There's so much more work that needs to be done, but again, he's really thankful for all of his community and their support. In Clackamas County, Elise Haas, KOIN 6 News.
So some of those veterans reached out to our Elise Haas, saying the building has been neglected for years and they're worried about where they're going to live. In this KOIN 6 investigation, Elise went to those in charge to get answers about how this could happen with tax dollars.
Odds are you've driven by this rundown motel on Sandy Boulevard in Northeast Portland, not realizing what's behind the gates and the closed doors.
I had the roof cave in on my head, and it revealed so much black mold up there. It was just gross.
David White served his country in the Army. He's also one of those who's forced to move out of this government-funded housing complex called Sandy Studios. He showed me pictures of what his room looked like, including the mold.
There's been an ongoing just pattern of neglect here. This is a veterans-only housing complex. I expect better.
After being homeless for years, Sandy Studios was supposed to give David stability. But over the course of his 5 years living here, he dealt with water leaks and roaches and suffered from bed bugs.
They get paid $1,050 for a month of rent here, and it comes from our government. I want the people to know that it's being wasted here.
I went inside to see for myself. I found Army veteran Michael Flover living like this without a working sink. So this sink doesn't have a pipe when you look down here. It's just coming through the bottom because the pipes are not connected. I realized these were not apartments. They are 280 square foot kitchenless motel rooms. I saw problems like this leaking pipe in a bathroom ceiling. Outside, there's evidence of hoarding and cramped, hazardous conditions indoors. Hi there. Hi, my name's Elise. I'm with KOIN 6 News. Every door I opened, veterans showed me maintenance issues.
I fought for this country, and I shouldn't be treated like this.
Our objective right now is making sure that the dangerous conditions are addressed.
I met with city inspectors. They showed me reports confirming the pest infestations, water leaks, and mold. The city declared Sandy Studios dangerous, ordering the property owner to get everyone out by March 10th.
And so we'll hold the owner accountable through fines and citations to get the building fixed.
Did you have any idea that it was like that?
So I hadn't seen images like that.
I sat down with Mark Jolin, the director of the Joint Office of Homeless Services, and showed him the conditions.
I had heard that there were significant issues with the water damage, but missing pipes and things like that, that was not anything that I was aware of.
The Joint Office of Homeless Services budgets nearly $640,000 tax dollars a year for the nonprofit Do Good Multnomah to run the programs and day-to-day maintenance at Sandy Studios. So the issue that I think that taxpayers are going to have about this, Mark, is that Do Good is putting on their website that they provide all of these services and that Sandy Studios is a safe, supported housing complex for disabled veterans. And then in reality, I go there and I find all of these seniors who are living in squalor in a dangerous building, right? So how do you explain that, and how do you expect the public to trust that you guys are taking care of our people and our money?
As we get through this process of getting folks out as quickly as possible, then we're going to have to come back around and understand what it was that happened here in this particular instance and what we need to take away, what we need to learn from that.
The executive director of Do Good, Chris Ayosa, says the maintenance company fixes most of the issues.
The outliers are the individuals that when maintenance shows up, they are not allowed in their units for whatever reason. And then after time after time after time, the maintenance will just say, okay, this individual does not want us into their unit.
During COVID, Ayosa says social workers made fewer in-person visits, which compounded problems of mental illness and drug addiction. Chris believes the veterans should have never been placed here.
No hot water pressure in my sink, kitchen sink.
So why did you say yes to signing on to this motel then?
I get really emotional about this. I'm a veteran. And the idea that veterans should be houseless or homeless is unfathomable to me. And I was hopeful that if I had the opportunity to take over this program to help support veterans and then eventually move them into something more appropriate for them.
Chris hopes to get the veterans into homes his nonprofit is building, but they won't be finished for nearly a year.
At the tone, please record your message.
Hi Ganesh, this is Elise Haas with KOIN 6 News. Sandy Studios is owned by 3800 Parham LLC. I called the president of the company, Ganesh Sonpatki. He didn't want to do an interview, but in a statement he said in part, Parham Hotel Group will continue to work closely with the City of Portland and repair and renovations contractors. We regret the inconvenience our veteran tenants have endured through the building challenges and resolve to support them during their housing transition. Sonpotki partners with the city and county on multiple motels to house the homeless. The 5-year lease at Standy Studios alone has earned his company more than $2.5 million in taxpayer dollars.
This is a colossal waste.
David's now in a real apartment, while the remaining veterans are being put up in a different motel. What do you want for them?
Oh, I want him to get to a normal place and have a kitchen and a bedroom. Man, that would be awesome because, I don't know, I don't think they've ever known anything different. A lot of them came off the streets.
Now the veterans say they can only hope for better public housing in the future. In Northeast Portland, Elise Haas, KOIN 6 News. Portland restaurateurs are on a mission to clean. They say COVID, increasing homelessness, and destructive riots have nearly destroyed and dirtied downtown.
These things are really affecting business, and they're affecting the demeanor and like the feeling you get when you walk to work and you have to walk past a garbage can that's just been ransacked. That stays there. The city is not cleaning this up.
David Hammond owns a few restaurants, including Fat Cart and the newly opened Barranco. Like many others downtown, his restaurants are boarded up after he and his wife were victims of rioters and looters. He wants to help bring business back.
Okay. Yeah, let's cruise to a different spot.
That's why David and his fellow business buddies are making this their morning routine.
We started a few weeks ago. We're getting more buddies each week. We've got garbage cans on wheels, garbage bags.
That's why the city is working on a revitalization plan. We recently reported on Mayor Ted Wheeler's plan to fix these problems.
I'm talking about managing the crisis today.
But businesses are calling out the city.
I don't see the city doing anything.
Saying actions speak louder than words.
It probably looks good on paper. I wonder what policy they are introducing that is going to start taking dents away at the problems that we're seeing.
In the meantime, he and his fellow restaurant owners will clean the streets, hoping to inspire other Portlanders to do some small part.
I'm trying to make a case that you can be tired of it and not leave. You can be tired of it and come down here and help solve the problem.
In downtown Portland, Elise Haas, KOIN 6 News.